Hey there everyone, 𝘁𝘂𝗿𝗄𝗿, physical therapist. I want to talk about how do you turn on your glutes because this is really important for running. We're getting ready to launch the 𝗵𝗲𝗿 project, which is coming up this Sunday, so hopefully you're watching before Sunday, February 23rd. It's a 5-week boot camp where we help runners improve their run form. In that program, which you can check out if you're interested, by the way, at 𝗵𝗲𝗂𝗿𝗺.com, we talk about strengthening the glutes. We talk about it all the time here on Run Smart Online, but strengthening the glutes is really important for run form, just for the fact that it's what we call in the 𝗵𝗲𝗿 project as friends and helpers. So they're the big, powerful muscle groups. You can't have good form without having good anatomy. And I want to show you how you can turn your glutes on. You hear a lot of people talking about my glutes are turned off, they're not activated. So there's actually things you can just do in your normal workouts to get your glutes to quote-unquote turn on. And I want to show those to you. And one of the biggest things that we see is people kind of biasing themselves away from using their glutes. So they'll overload their knees. Their knees tend to be over, and their quads tend to be overutilized, so they kind of rely on those. They don't use their butt or glute muscles. So the biggest thing I'll show you right out of the gate is, this happens pretty often in the clinic. As a physical therapist, I ask someone to squat and show me their squat, and they'll do one of these. So they'll either do one of two things. They'll either push their knees way forward like this, or they'll sit down really straight like this. And the thing you need to know, and I'm going to relate this back to a couple other exercises here in a minute, is that when your trunk, this is all you have to take from this video, other than the exercises I'm going to show you. When your trunk is upright, it's very difficult to turn or maximize your glutes being used in the exercise. So if you're doing squats and you're here and you're thinking like, don't take my knees over my toes, keep my back straight, this is not going to turn on your glutes. You're actually just putting a lot of strain on those big old quads that are doing all the work for you anyways when you're running. So instead, you should know that if you're going to turn on your glutes, you need to flex the hip. So there's going to be someone in here who's going to probably hashtag me butt back in a second, but you need to hinge from the hip and get your butt back if you want to turn on the glutes. That flexion from your hips is the sole thing in most exercises that can be tweaked to get your glutes stronger. So this is what it would look like from the side. You can have your hands on your hips. You can have some weights in your hands, driving that butt backwards and then coming back up, rather than this guy, or even worse, that. So get your butt back, hinge from the hips. Notice I'm not rounding everything out and curling my spine. I have a nice curvature in my low back, and that's how we want you guys to practice your squatting to load your glutes. Now, there's a couple other exercises that I really like that will improve your glute strength, quote-unquote, turn your glutes on. I want to show those to you now. The first one we use in the 𝗵𝗲𝗿 project, and before I forget, starts this Sunday, February 23rd, 𝗵𝗲𝗿𝗂𝗿.com, 5-week boot camp where we help you with your run form and get that up to snuff so you can run faster. We use this exercise. I'm going to show you a different variation. So this is not the exact one we use in the boot camp and in the 𝗵𝗲𝗿 project, but a lot of people like to lunge, right? They do lunges, or they just think lunges are bad for them. And we see so many people in the clinic when I ask them to lunge, and they do one of these jobbies. Hopefully I'm in the frame here. They like to drop that knee down. Remember, key thing, if your trunk is upright, you're not turning glute on to its maximum capacity, its maximum ability. If you really want to strengthen those glutes, you want to get them stronger, you need to flex from the trunk. So this is going to go against what a lot of you have learned about lunging. We don't want this knee drop. Instead, a very easy and safe way to protect the knee, and it's more running related, is to keep the back leg straight. Hopefully you can see this, I'm not even sure. And then you want to flex from the hip. Notice, I'll go from this side. This flexion from that hip turns that glute on. When I'm here doing the traditional lunge that people like to do, a lot of knee there, people. You're not getting a lot of glutes. Your knees are getting overworked running anyways. Flip the switch, get the glutes to turn on, and I'll show you actually a better way to lunge. Like I talk about a lot of the videos, people avoid front, or they do their front planks a lot of times, and they skip their side planks. Your side-to-side motions are very, very good at turning your glutes on. So if maybe you do forward lunges, maybe you don't. Instead, what I encourage you to do, if you're not doing either, is to add in a side lunge. A side lunge with a reach down to your knee. You'll see this again as I come towards the camera. That's the way I know I'm in frame. A side lunge in itself is going to load that lateral hip a lot better. It's going to work on strengthening that glute. You flex forward a little bit, you're going to even load it more. So your side motions are much, much better at getting your hips and glutes stronger. You know, we think about running, it's always forward, and you don't have a lot of lateral movements, at least unless you're Phoebe Buffay. I'm not sure anyone will get that reference. But the side motions are so critical. Side and rotation motions are so critical for turning on the glutes. So two things, let's go through them again. Squats, flex on the hip, get the butt back. Side lunges are better than forward lunges. With the chest down, that'll load the glute. Your forward lunges with your chest down as well will load the glute. These are super important from an injury standpoint, but also a run form standpoint. You cannot have if you have the greatest form in the world, but you're weak as hell, it doesn't matter how good your form is. That's why in the Midfoot Project, we give exercises, we give strengtheners, because once you tap in and you get good on your form and you have good anatomy, the world is your oyster. You get to run a lot faster, you get injured less, and you really kind of, it's like I call it, when your run form is good, it's like cutting the parachute off your back. So if you want to join us for the Midfoot Project, learn exercises, learn the drills, it's a 5-week program, it's a 5-week boot camp called the Midfoot Project, and go to 𝗵𝗲project.com. We start Sunday. We do this class once a year, so if you don't get in, we'll see you in 2021. But if you want better run form, come check us out. We look forward to helping you guys out, and if very least, maybe these exercises can help you out as well. All right, have a great night, everyone. Talk to you soon.